Welcome to the Forward Moves podcast, a place where we talk about all things operations and marketing for your fitness business.
And where we bring on industry-leading guests to help you get the inside scoop.
I'm your host, Ash.
And I'm your co-host, Kira. And let's get into the episode of today. Today, I have someone here with me who is a lover and sharer of all things mindset and self-development, but she also takes people from Bambi to ballerina. Morgan Eldrett, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Bambi to ballerina. That's literally perfect. Girls always come to me. They're like, I feel like a Bambi on ice. Like I can't pose. So that's literally perfect.
Thank you. I thought of it last night and I was like, oh, yes, feel free to use it. Yeah. You can take it if you like.
That's who I will. That's my next catchphrase.
Yeah, from Bambi to ballerina.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. I'm so excited to chat. I feel like we've known each other like loose-ishly, like via social media and through like an old friend as well.
Wild.
I think we met at a show, at a bodybuilding show.
We actually met before that, which I don't know if you remember. We met in a nightclub.
Did we?
We met at a friend's like connections, I don't know, friend of a friend and your maybe partner, I don't know. We met and we like had a night out together. But this was like pre-gym era. This was before I even was like into the gym at all.
It would have been the same for me. I don't think I would have been into the gym either.
Literally.
Oh, that's so funny.
And I think we were at the show and I was like, I've seen you before.
Yeah, and I was like, I know you.
Yeah, so funny.
Yeah, crazy.
Grapevine.
Here we are. And in between that, you've like moved to Melbourne. Well, we were both North Brisbane, and then you moved to the coast, then Melbourne, then back.
Yeah,
I feel like you've been everywhere.
It's the journey, right? Like people I know from before my gym era, I'm like, you don't even know me now. I'm a whole different person, like completely different person. I've been through all of these things, but I guess core is still me, right? Like, but yeah, it's so good. Such a big journey.
Yeah, it's crazy. Do you think that it plays like such a big, like, do you think it's a really important thing to do in your life is to like move away from where you grew up?
Yes, I think so. I think no matter where you are, your hometown is going to be your hometown, right? Like you've just got people from school and you've got these friends that you've been forced to be friends with. And then you've got to go and find the real friends, the real people, and half of the time they're not going to be there. But you just learn so much about yourself. I think as well, growing up, maybe if I grew up on the Gold Coast, I wouldn't want to move. But
true.
Growing up on Bribie was such a small community, such a tight-knit community.
Bribie's tiny, like so small.
I'm lucky I didn't go to school on Bribie. If I went to school, it would have been like my whole life there. But as soon as I was old enough to know that there was more off the island, I was like, get me off this island.
It wigs me out that like literally to get on and off Bribie is one bridge.
Literally. And if there's a crash, no, see you later.
Whatever side you're on, that's where you're on.
Literally. But it's wild. And some people never leave. And I guess, you know, if they're happy doing that. But I definitely was like, I need to get off this island. And my brother and sister, I'm like, guys, go and see what else is out there.
Yeah, no, I love that. And you have recently started your own podcast as well.
I have.
And you do most of the episodes on your own.
Yeah.
How do you find doing those?
So hard. I don't know. At first I was like, oh, it's going to be chill. I can just chat to the mic for 20 minutes. And then when I sat down, I was like, oh, that's actually kind of tricky.
Yeah.
But I feel like I have a lot to say and I'm a chatty person. And once I get on a roll, I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, whoa, I just spoke for half an hour.
You're like, where did the time go? I feel like I think of it being like super scary. I'm like, oh man, how could you do that? But I mean, I talk to myself for majority of the day. So I'm like, I reckon I could do an episode just chatting to myself.
Yeah. You've got to plan for it so much more though. And sometimes I get stuck. I've like lost my train of thought. I'm like, wait, what did I just say? And then I have to pause it and listen again.
Go back because like you don't have someone to like bounce off, which I find would be really hard. But I was actually nervous to do our one-to-one chat because I've never done a podcast with just one other person because I normally have Ash next to me, but she's away. So I was like, oh, I was a little bit nervous, but
it's nice to have a second person who you are like is on your side, right? Because you guys can bounce off each other and then take what you want to that interviewee. But you're doing well, so it's great.
You.
Hopefully, I'm making you comfortable.
Yes, we're making the host comfortable. That's funny. But so in correlation to saying like you take people from Bambi to ballerina, you are a posing coach. So I do want to ask, do you think there's a misconception about being able to be a full-time posing coach and have it as your own, like the sole job?
Yeah, definitely. I think when I first started posing coaching, my goal was like, oh, how cool would it be if I could do this as my full-time thing? Nobody else was doing it as their full-time thing. There was like maybe 2 that really were popping off, but everyone was like, oh yeah, it can be like your side hustle. And yeah, I think people don't realize how it's just like PT, right? Like you can fill your books and you can make really good money from it as well. And it's obviously different to online coaching where you can really expand. You've obviously got a certain amount of hours in the day, but yeah, you can definitely do it full time. And I don't think people really take it seriously until I realized like, oh yeah, this is something I could do. I always thought it was just going to be my like side thing.
Yeah, like you think that you would have to have something else or it be the side. Like it would be like either main and on the side or like on the side of something else.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, you can't do that as a full-time business. But yeah, it is a good comparison to be like, so many people say that about being a PT.
Yeah.
It's definitely coming a lot more common now, but.
Definitely. It is so much more common. I think when I started, I was just looking to have like 5 clients, like just like 5 lessons here and there throughout the week. And then as soon as it started to pick up, I was like, well, actually, I don't have time for all the other stuff. So it's just actually become my full-time thing.
Yeah, that's so cool. Because you were doing coaching, like online coaching, like training and nutrition coaching on the side, right?
Yeah. So it was like online fitness coaching and then I was personal training before that. But as soon as I started posing coaching, I sort of realized I don't actually like the online fitness coaching as much as I like posing. So why would I try and make posing my side hustle when I like that more than everything else?
Yeah, no, that's really cool. I like that. And you're a really big advocate for mindset and mental health and self-development. When did you realize that this was such a big key also within the midst of bodybuilding?
I think before I started bodybuilding, I struggled with my mindset a lot. And the thing that has made me a successful bodybuilder has been my mindset and the fact that I've been able to take it from struggling and anxious to being able to use it as my superpower. And I think people don't even realize how it can literally change or it changes your life, right? Like your perception and your happiness can change the whole trajectory of your life. And I think that it's been the reason why I'm so successful. So I'm like, guys, everybody else needs to think about this more too.
Yeah, I think I only just put the 2 and 2 together. So like, I've been listening to your podcast episodes as well. And there was a bit that was about like your own thoughts that you have in your mind, like changes like your feelings and everything. I got sick and then I just didn't feel like I never felt like good again. I kept being like, oh, I feel so flat. I feel so blurred. Oh, it's from being sick. And then I started to be like, oh, I don't like doing my training. I was like at the gym and I was like, oh, I feel yuck. And then I was like, you feel yuck because you're telling yourself that you feel yuck. And it was like mid-training session. And I was like, nope, I love being here. I love being at the gym. My session turned around and it's been good since.
Yeah.
So I think it's wild.
The way you speak to yourself matters so much. Like your internal language, we don't realize how much that has a role in everything we do. Like I used to, when I first started out in the gym, I would always tell myself like, I'm an anxious person. I'm anxious. That's been my story for like my whole life. As soon as I started to go, well, actually, like I'm just like it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like I'm like telling myself I'm anxious, so then I'm looking for things to be anxious about. And of course, it's not just as simple as being like, okay, I'm not anxious anymore. Yeah. But like just playing into that really, can make it so much worse.
Yeah, and I feel like I only just realized, I was like, oh, maybe it was because I was listening to Morgan's episode. It was just talking about self-talk. Yeah. I was like, I only just realized that it was probably that, because otherwise I probably wouldn't have thought anything of it.
Yeah, well, that's great. That's
cheeky little plug for Morgan's podcast.
Well, it's so good, like knowing that people are like, you don't directly get impacted from like the podcast, right? But maybe something just clicks in your mind and then like a week later you're like, oh, actually that makes sense.
Yeah, like when it's actually like you're going through it physically.
Yeah.
And it's like there subliminally in your brain.
Yeah, literally. So good.
It's been great. And I wanted to ask, like, when you first got into bodybuilding, so you got into bodybuilding when you met Cal, is that right?
Yeah.
Did you find the bodybuilding world to be quite lonely when you first got into it?
Very, very lonely. I think that's been the driver for everything that I do within the podcast, within posing coaching, just trying to create community, because it is such a lonely sport, because it is it's only you that does the thing, right? Like, you're not in a team. And I think that we can get so isolated in bodybuilding as well, because we don't have as much of a social life. But I think just not enough conversation is happening and not enough support. And I think as soon as I started realizing that I could be that for other people, like I can create the community, I jumped at it. And I love being able to connect other people and connect girls. And at my posing boot camp, a few girls that I'd never met before, they've become like really good friends.
That's so
good.
nice.
But yeah, I think even though having Callum, it's not the same as having like a really good tight-knit community.
Yeah, I feel like there has been a little bit of a shift in community within the bodybuilding world. I feel like it used to be seen as like they're your competitors. Do you think that's played a big part of being like, oh, it's actually people who love and enjoy the same thing that I do?
Yeah, literally. Like, we are all there for the same thing, right? And that can be, yes, daunting, knowing that we're all chasing that same goal, but that's also like really empowering. We all just have the same desire to like be better. And I think show day is such a fun day if you let it be a fun day, like, or the whole prep really. Like, if you actually put yourself out there and meet some other people, you guys are going through the same thing. Everybody's tired and hungry, and you can like do that together. And then you get to come together at show day and have a good day. And then I guess once you step on stage, it can be a different story. You can like snap into your a little bit more focused, but the whole journey doesn't have to be this single-minded, like I'm lone wolf journey. It doesn't have to be like that.
Yeah. And I feel like it's changing a lot, that preps and everything have really changed from like, you have to be miserable, you have to be alone, and that's the only way that you look good on stage. I feel like there's been a little bit of a shift in you can actually enjoy a prep.
100%.
And I feel like at the same time, prep and bodybuilding is being like more demonized than it used to, but it's also becoming like a healthier way to do it.
Yeah. I'd love to think that I play a role in that, in influencing that, because it is more suffering does not mean more progress. It literally means the opposite. The more you suffer, the more you're unhappy, right? And of course, there's going to be times where you're hungry and tired, but I always say that hard doesn't mean bad. Like, hard can be hard, but it doesn't have to mean that it's awful, and you don't have to make it feel like you're suffering. And I think knowing that, and knowing that you can have a fun prep, makes it so much more sustainable for you as well. You'll have so many more preps in you if they're enjoyable. If they all suck, you're just gonna, that's why it gets demonized, because people suffer and then they just like put themselves through hell, and then they get to the show day and then they don't enjoy show day, and then they're like, bodybuilding's not for me. It's awful, whatever.
Everyone's rude. Everyone's mean. It was
literally.
awful. I had a horrible time. I was unhappy the entire time.
Literally ruined my relationship with food. It's like, well, no, like that was in your control whether or not that ruined it or not. Yeah. But it's hard because it is hard. Like, a prep is hard, and it's supposed to be hard. That's the whole point. But it doesn't have to be bad.
Yeah, I like that analogy of putting the hard and bad together. That makes sense.
Yeah. It's like everything though. Like, you have a hard day, it can feel rewarding or it can feel bad, right? Like, you can decide your self-talk. It all comes down to your mindset and your perception and how you speak to yourself. If you've got a big day of clients and you're like, oh, this freaking sucks. Like, I'm working my butt off. Or you can be like, cool, look how many clients I've got. This is amazing. I'm busy. I'm thriving. It just comes down to that self-talk.
Yeah, I love that. And going back to like how you switched from your coaching business to your posing business, was there any like limiting beliefs and when you were trying to switch from one to the other that you could have achieved like a more sooner if you didn't be held back by your coaching business and just like not letting go quick enough?
Constantly. I feel like even now, even with the podcast, I experienced the same thing. I think I talked about doing the podcast for like 2 years and I was like, no, I don't have anything to say. No one really cares. And as soon as I did it, I was like, oh, I should have done this 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It was the same with the posing coaching as well. I think that I didn't really have a lot of, I think before I turned pro, it was different. There was kind of like a mark in the road of turning pro and being an amateur. As an amateur, I thought, no, I'm not worthy of being a posing coach yet because I'm not a pro. But as soon as I turned pro, I still had that sort of mindset of being like, oh, maybe after a year or maybe after you've competed in a pro show, that's when. And I guess it fell into my lap that it became full time. But there was so many times where I was like, no, maybe I should wait. Maybe I should just like not push it yet until I'm like established. I realized, oh, you're never going to be established like what you think it's going to be.
Yeah, there's always going to be a reason not to do something.
Yeah, 100%. That's it. And you've just got to jump in the deep end.
Yeah.
And I think, of course, with coaching and, you know, you have such a big role in other people's lives, you don't want to go in prematurely. Like if you don't have the education or you don't know how to do it, maybe take some time, but I think there's got to be a point where you just go, fuck it.
Yeah, absolutely. You just jump in, you sink or you swim, and then you find out at the end.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm sure my first posing client, like, not as the quality that I gave them was definitely not what I'm giving now, but
that's it. Like you're only going to be able to get better by doing.
Exactly.
So the sooner you start, the better you'll be in 12 months time when you might not have even started yet.
Exactly. And as long as you're invested in progressing, right? Like as long as you're like invested in trying to make yourself better, you'll get better. As long as you don't just sort of stay stagnant.
Yeah. And it was actually going to be one of the questions that I asked you was, do you think that when you're looking for a posing coach, do you think that the person should be a pro or do you think you need to be a pro before you're a posing coach?
I think I thought that when I was going through it all, but now I've sort of realized like if you're to be a good coach, you don't have to be good. I don't know. It's hard. I feel like sometimes I think yes and sometimes I think no because I look at coaches like bodybuilding coaches. The best ones probably are the ones who just have the most education, who are the best at speaking with people. They don't necessarily have to be the best bodybuilders themselves. So I think you can be a really good teacher and not actually be in it yourself. I think you have to have posing experience and stage time and stage experience, but you might not necessarily actually have to be a pro because you could be a good poser but not have the best physique. And so that's going to play a role as well. Like if you genetically just don't have a physique that would turn you pro, but you are the best poser, got dance, like you're amazing, you'd probably still be a really, really good posing coach.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that answer. Yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know. Like
it's tricky. I think everyone that I've learned, they've all probably been pros for sure. Yeah. And I think that just comes with being like established in the industry as well. But I don't think you have to be if you are a really, really good poser and you've actually stepped on stage. I think you could definitely be a posing coach as well.
And how I feel like it's a really hard thing for people to be like to find a posing coach or people be like, oh, ask the questions and make sure you're a right fit. How do people actually find the right posing coach for them?
I think it's trial and error. I think you really just have to get in the weeds with them and see if it fits. I think you can see what people post on social media and have a really good idea, but until you actually connect with that person and see if their coaching style works with what you want, it honestly just takes a lesson probably. I think that people are getting really good at posting on social media and getting a bit more showing themselves more on social media so you can get a really good idea. But coaching style, same with like online fitness coaching, right? Like, cause you just have to have that conversation with them and start to see, is this working or do we have the same goal? But I think getting a lesson is probably the best thing.
Yeah, I think that's good advice.
Yeah, I've definitely had people in the past where I have had a lesson. I thought this is going to be the best lesson ever. They look so amazing. They've coached this lady and she poses so well. And then I've got on there and we just haven't clicked. I'm like, oh, nah, it's not going to work.
Yeah. Do you think, I feel like people get scared that they're going to have a lesson and then they're going to be like, no, it doesn't work. Like, do you think it, like, do you find it like less awkward than it actually is? If someone's like, oh, it just didn't work out. It feels like you're like breaking up with someone.
Yeah. I'm pretty good at not taking business personally. Like if somebody comes to me and I feel like we've hit it off and then they don't come back, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like she obviously didn't like me. But it's probably not, she probably doesn't like me personally. It's just my coaching style. I definitely have thought that in the past as well. Like if I had a posing lesson with someone, but I didn't really click with how she was teaching, I still like that person as a person. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I just don't take it personally.
Yeah. It's good to think
People
of it
come
that
and
way.
go so often though, right? Like
Yeah.
in any industry and anything you do, people just come and go and that's good. I encourage people to try new things and like expand their knowledge beyond what they know. So if that means going to somebody else or going and coming back, like that's fine.
Yeah, no, I like that. And so you're heavily into bodybuilding. You were supposed to do season A this year and then didn't?
Yeah, so I was supposed to be I should have been like 2 weeks out like as of now, but not season A because it would have been a pro show.
Gotcha, yes.
And I think, so there was supposed to be pro show happening, but we've pushed it back to the end of the year. So it'll be like November time that I'll compete now.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah.
And I do want to ask, I feel like there's so much confusion for people who aren't heavily involved in bodybuilding. And you mentioned that like it was something that you realized that you could make a career out of bodybuilding. What does that mean? Like, because I feel like people don't know that you don't actually make like any money in bodybuilding, especially like any of like the national shows, even the Pro Australia shows. I think the winner might get something. I don't even think the winner gets something in the Australia shows. But
No.
so like, how do you make a career out of bodybuilding?
It's hard. It's hard. It's not like tennis or basketball where you get a paycheck for just playing, right? Amateur shows, you don't get any income. It's just not it's like when you're an amateur in anything, I don't think you do. When you turn pro, you can win money in pro shows, but the prize money is so little that it doesn't really make a dent into everything else that you've spent, and you couldn't make a living off it. I think becoming a pro doesn't really change a lot in that sense. The main way you would make money would be from sponsors and from getting an eye on yourself and getting more followers. And then you can get sponsors who are going to sponsor you to compete, and then you can sort of make a run that way. But as an amateur, it's hard. And as a pro, it's really hard as well, especially because Australia doesn't have any pro shows. So you have to travel overseas to compete as well, which makes it more expensive and tricky. Yeah. But you can I've obviously used my pro status to help me with my posing business, and I think that that's worked.
Yeah. Will they ever bring a pro show to Australia?
They used to have one, and then COVID hit and it got like all messed up, and then they just hasn't come back. So I don't know. There's not many people that would travel all the way to Australia for a show. If you're in America and there's a pro show like an hour flight away, or Australia, of course you're just going to do the one in America. It makes sense.
Yeah, that's fair. I feel like over in America, they have like pro shows and shows, like they don't have seasons. It's just year round.
Yeah. There's pretty much like the calendar's like one every weekend somewhere in the world. Yeah. So like for us, it's, I'm trying to pick shows that are close, so the travel's not so far. Callum did a pro show in New York 2 years ago, and our travel there was like, it ended up being like 30 hours of travel to get there. It was really rough.
Oh my God. I would hate to be in prep and have to travel 30 hours.
Yeah, poor Cal was eating chicken and asparagus out of little Ziploc bags for the whole time. It was really rough.
That's awful.
Yeah.
That's so hard.
Yeah.
And I do know something really cool is that you became the first Australian wolf pack.
Yeah.
Affiliate. That's very cool.
Yeah. So one of the first Aussies, which is really cool. It's a brand that I've watched and had and used for so long. When they reached out to me, I was like, amazing. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, they reached out to you too?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, it was actually really random. They just slid into my DMs. At first, I thought it was just like a spam.
Yeah.
So I left it. And I was like, maybe I should just check.
Maybe just click the profile and see.
Literally, I was like, oh, like, you know how you get so many messages, just spam stuff. I was like, oh, nah. But yeah, it's been great. And they would be a brand that really would be able to take me far because they're an American brand, which is really good. It's good to be able to affiliate with brands that are in the bodybuilding scene because a lot of the Aussie ones, they don't sponsor like the Olympia or anything, but having Wolfpack they have booths at the Olympia.
Yeah.
So that's it's a cool brand.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah, so you can use my code, Morgan.
So many
great.
plugs.
Yeah, literally. Finding little ways to slide it in. Literally though, anytime I see anyone with a backpack, like, they should have a wolf pack.
Yeah, I actually have a wolf pack. It was one of the most expensive bags I've ever bought in my life. Like, I think it was when I was bodybuilding and I ordered it. And I think it cost me like $350, $360 to get here. I was like, this is the most expensive backpack I've ever bought. And it was mostly on shipping. I was like, but that was a few years ago. I don't know if it's gotten slightly better.
Yeah, they're pretty, I mean, they still are quite a fair bit, like compared to a normal backpack, right? It's just the shipping. It is coming from America is so expensive.
But it is good. It is a good backpack though. And of course I was like, I don't want the small one. I want the big one.
Yeah,
and
of
so
course.
it could have been a cheaper backpack.
Yeah.
But I was like, well, if I'm going to buy it, I'll buy it.
Yeah, but
big
you
one.
wear it with pride, like get little patches.
Yeah, the patches
Walk
are
around,
cool.
I'm like, yeah, I got my wolf pack on. That's pretty cool. I'm a real bodybuilder.
Yeah. Oh, that's so funny. I love that. I feel like just in general, the bodybuilding scene is confusing to anyone not in the bodybuilding scene. So can you give, I don't think we've ever had anyone explain like the bodybuilding like levels. So at what level, like you said, like once you get to a pro show, but like how do you get to the Olympia?
Okay, so we'll start from scratch. So you've obviously got the different federations. You've got like ICN and ANB and then IFBB, WBFF or FMG. IFBB is the one that will take you probably the furthest in, like if you were to say your whole bodybuilding career. Because they have the Olympia, which is like the Super Bowl of bodybuilding. It's what everybody wants to get to. If you win the Olympia, you actually win a fair bit of money. Like the women don't. The discrepancy is really off. The women earn like $50,000 but the men, like if you win the Open men's bodybuilding, you win $500,000 like 500,000.
Wait, it goes from 50K.
Yeah. Well, just, yeah.
I feel like you could like divvy that up like a little bit more.
Right? Like everybody get 100, that would be a vibe.
Yeah.
I guess they bring the most eyes though, right? Like everybody wants to see the big boys. But
To be fair, the girls, I think are getting bigger.
Yeah.
Like it's definitely getting bigger,
absolutely,
I think.
yeah. So the Olympia, that's where you win like the money. That's the big one. Everybody knows you if you go to the Olympia. So you're an amateur in Australia. You have season A, season C now where you can win your pro card. So you have to win out of your whole group of girls. So there's one girl who wins the bikini pro card out of everybody who competed that season A. So if you win that overall, you win your pro card. And then you can go and do pro shows anywhere in the world. You don't have to pay to enter them because you're a pro. You sort of just get to be in them. And there's in Europe and America and everywhere. And then essentially you have to win the pro show to qualify for the Olympia. So you have to win your pro card, then you have to win a pro show, and then you get to go to the Olympia. And then there's like however many girls at the Olympia as well. So there's lots of opportunities, but pro shows are hard to win. You have to be the best of all the pros. But yeah, so it's a pretty cool journey in that chasing that Olympia qualification is sort of in the calendar year. So you win in the calendar year and then you go to that Olympia. And then the next calendar year rolls around and you have to start that process all again.
Yeah, you can't like win the pro show and then be like, okay, and then I'm going to take a season off and then go to the Olympics. Like you have to do it like all back to back kind of thing and be like, that physique is your physique for the year kind of thing.
Yeah, and you can be smart. Like the Olympia's at the end of the year. If you did like a January show and you won that one, you could take some time off to sort of like build into the Olympia. But you almost, I don't know if it would be better to do it at the end of the year so you're really close. But it's all a bit tactical. And if you don't, like you would just keep going and going and going if you don't get that qualification. If you're chasing it from January and you don't win, you could just do shows after shows after shows until you get it, which would be a big year.
That would be a massive year.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's been like an increase of people talking about like how bad bodybuilding is? And I feel like to me in my world, it's like outshining like people loving bodybuilding. Do you think there's been a change or does like your world not really have that in it?
I feel like my world doesn't.
Yeah.
And I feel like I put out so much good that I feel like, oh my God, everybody loves prep. Like prep's a vibe. So I don't know. I guess maybe I think also in other federations, there's a bigger gap in talent.
Like who goes into it?
Yeah, I think there's a lot more beginners and a lot more people who don't understand bodybuilding.
Like what they're getting into.
Yeah. I think if you're because it's my lifestyle and it's been my lifestyle for so long, I really live and breathe it. I am I'm just a bodybuilder all year round. And so prep, off season, it's all very easy for me to stick to because it's my life. But somebody who doesn't really understand bodybuilding, who just goes into a prep and doesn't have an experienced coach, doesn't have the education, it can be really detrimental. And I think you see that a lot in the other federations because there is just a lot more, they let a lot of people in. Anybody can do IFBB as well, but I think people are a bit more hesitant to do it until they're like ready.
Yeah, that makes sense. Do you think there's been a big shift in how preps are done now though? I feel like there's been a really big movement around like a healthier prep. Have you found this a lot?
Yeah. From when I started to now, it's been such a big shift. I remember when I first got into the bodybuilding industry, just the whole fitness industry was different then. It was very much like, if it fits your macros, who cares what the food is, like just lots of sugar-free foods and all that kind of stuff. And it was kind of toxic. People would diet really hard for bodybuilding shows and then they would have really bad reverse diets. And that, I feel like a few years ago, cookies and everything were like the biggest craze as well. So it was a kind of unhealthy place. Now is so much more education, you know, people aren't crash dieting, people aren't dieting on awful food and lots of cardio, but there is still a lot of bad coaches out there who will put people through the ringer, and that's why you just have to pick your coach so carefully. That's the number one thing out of everybody. I think if you go into a prep with a bad coach or somebody who isn't educated, it can be a really bad time.
Yeah.
But the education's there, like on Instagram and podcasts, and there's so many good like YouTube channels, so much education out there that you can kind of spot the red flags earlier. Whereas like 5 years ago, you didn't know any better. And if you have a coach now that doesn't take you on that healthier journey, try and like get the information and sort of spot the red flags would be my tip.
Yeah. I feel like it also helps. I feel like there was a time where people didn't show their building phase or their bulk phase because it doesn't look as flashy and as incredible as the lean comp stage lean. Yeah. But I feel like it's being like, no, this is a normal body and you need to build to get to stage. So I feel like it's kind of moved in a way to start showcasing like that side, and that the building and the healthy side like is what you need to get there.
100%. The rise of just like the Instagram now, where we are all just like showing every part of ourselves unfiltered, that's been so good for the bodybuilding scene. But of course you're going to still have people that don't show that, and of course it's going to be like an anomaly that like can stay lean year round. And so, of course, we're probably going to see them more. They're going to be the ones that have all the followers because they're different, right? But knowing that they are just like the 1% and knowing that majority of people do have to go through the phases of more body fat, and hopefully people are sharing that more often.
I think they definitely are. But then, I feel like some people would be like, oh, but they can do it.
Yeah.
And it's like, they probably have like the most incredible genes in the world.
Yeah.
Like you can't do anything about that.
People always say to me, oh, like, how do you stay so lean year round? I'm like, well, for one, I don't know. I actually put on quite a fair bit of body fat. It just looks like I don't.
You're like, rude, I'm growing.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm in growing season right now. But everyone's different, right? I also am so disciplined. I really am really dialed in majority of the year. So I can potentially stay a little bit leaner than other people, but that's my choice. I've decided that I want to be a little bit stricter. And so my choices reflect, like my body reflects my choices. And some other people might want my body, but might not want my life. So you've got to realize that if you're looking at someone and you're comparing yourself and you want their body or their job, that comes with their actions.
Yeah.
And if you're not willing to,
every choice will have its own different sacrifice that comes with it.
100%.
Like you don't get to have the good without the bad or the other parts of it. There's always going to be something.
It's like if you want to look lean all year round, then you have to be willing to not eat out or something. And majority of people aren't, and I'm not willing to sacrifice that. So it's hard when you compare and you don't see the context behind the person or the body. You're like, I just want that, but I don't want to do what it takes.
It's like when people are like, oh, they're lucky.
Yeah, literally. I'm actually, I get myself stuck in that with business, like, because I think I've put everything into my bodybuilding. And when I look at people that have like really good businesses, I'm like, oh, they're just so lucky. They just got it all. And I'm like, well, they dedicated their whole life to their business. Like, maybe you'd get that too if you dedicated your whole life to your business.
Yeah. What have you found like the hardest part owning a business, like learning how business, because I'm guessing you didn't like the idea of doing 9 to 5 and you wanted to work for yourself, all of that sort of thing.
Yeah.
How did you go learning about business?
I think it was a work in progress. It still is very much a work in progress. When I fell into PTing, that's what I started with. It was actually really good. I worked at Good Life and I had so much support in starting like a PT business through the gym. But it's all just been like trial and error and just like figuring it out as I go. I definitely didn't have any plan or business plan, or I didn't even know how anything worked, but I just sort of just worked on it. I'm continuously still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
I've never felt like I've got the business savvy brain. I've never really had that figured out, but
Yeah.
it's hard, especially when you're transitioning from like going from a 9 to 5. Like, where do I start? It's so hard. There's so many avenues you can go down. That's
Yeah.
why you guys are so good, because it just helps people have a little bit more like security and a little bit more like, oh, okay, I know what I'm doing a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, well, thanks.
It's good. It's great. I think I fell into online because of COVID. So we were PTing and then the gym got shut. So I was like, oh shit, I'm going to have to like do something to make money. So then I just like, I think I just Googled like what was the best online platform, and it was Trainer Eyes came up first.
Yeah.
Literally just signed up and that was it.
They have great SEO.
Literally. And that's all it took was just me like, okay, I need to Google, went on whatever the first one was, made an account, had no idea what I was doing, and just like played around and plugged a client in. And
Honestly, that is my biggest recommendation for people when learning platforms. Like people always say to me, they're like, how do you know all the platforms? I'm like, I literally will just sit there and click around. It's rare that I actually go and like search how to.
yeah.
Like I just learn by clicking. I feel like people are so scared to just click.
Yeah.
I'm like, most things can be undone.
Yeah.
Unless it's a payment or something like that, unless it's money wise.
Yeah.
Most things can be undone. And that's what I like to teach people. I'm like, go and have a play around. And they're like, what do you mean? And I'm
Yeah.
like, click the buttons, see where it takes you.
Yeah, literally. Well, it's like people can spend like 5 weeks watching YouTubes and like making a business plan and doing all of the things. But like you could have just started the business 5 weeks ago, done a bunch of things, failed, up and down, and still made more progress than if you just like studied the whole time and then you're like, okay, now it's perfect. Because it probably won't be perfect anyway.
No, like you'll spend all that time, then start, then it won't be perfect. And I think it's something that I know that you like is like planning and thinking about the thing isn't doing the thing.
Literally.
Like you literally just have to do it to get started. Like you're just putting things off.
Yeah. There's so many things that we think is being productive, but it's just procrastinating. We're just procrastinating, just actually taking the leap and just doing the final thing. It's just, maybe it's fear of failing. Maybe it's a fear of like other people judging, but the more you do and the more you fail, the more you learn and the better you're going to get at literally anything.
Yeah. I feel like people use, but I want it to be perfect as just a reason to not do something.
Yeah.
Like just perfection to procrastinate.
Yeah. Well, it's the same with my online fitness coaching and my posing coaching. At the start, it was not great, but it was either that or do nothing. I'd rather just do it. And it just kind of suck a little bit.
Yeah.
It's great because now I can look back and be like, wow, that did suck, but I'm so much further ahead.
Yeah.
If I never did it, I'd still be in that same like sucky place.
Yeah, that's it. What is your favorite part about your clients in your posing business?
I love taking somebody from that Bambi to ballerina. I love when somebody comes to me and they just don't have any self-confidence. They don't have any belief in their posing capabilities. And we can go through that whole journey. And then seeing them step on stage is so, so good. Like seeing somebody step on stage after I've seen them in their first lesson, I'm like, wow, we did that.
Yeah.
This is a confidence thing. I think that's the most exciting thing is seeing people come in that are like, I don't know how to pose. I'm awkward. I'm shy. And then them stepping on stage and they're like got that boss energy. And I'm like, you transformed your confidence.
Yeah.
It's so cool. And
I love that.
I love the whole journey. It's fun.
Yeah. And you get a lot of the time that people are like, I have no dance background. I'm not going to be a good poser. But you don't have any dance background either yourself, right?
Yeah. That's always my favorite thing to say to people. Someone will come in and they'll be like, I'm not going to be good because I've never danced. I didn't do gymnastics as a kid. I'm just like awkward. And I'm like, well, same girl, like same. I was like a boy as a kid. I just played sport the whole time. And I think it's like, again, it's like that self-talk. If you tell yourself, I'm not a dancer, I'm not very girly, I'm not going to be good at posing, you're just going to fulfill that by not letting yourself take the leap and like try. But I think you definitely don't need to have a dance background to be a good poser. You need a little bit of like sass, but that can come from anything.
That comes like when you start getting the poses and nailing them because you're like, oh, I did that. Yeah. And then it like just kind of comes out naturally.
Yeah. Once you see yourself in that a little bit more, like you see yourself in that confident vibe, it makes you want to bring that out more. But people are very hesitant to get that initial sort of break the seal almost. People are like, oh, it feels awkward, or like that's embarrassing to like, I always tell people smile, or like in a lesson I'll say to someone like, go like this. And they like can't. They're like, that's so embarrassing. I'm like, who's here? It's just me and you.
Literally just me.
Literally just me and you. And I've just done it to you so you can do it back.
Yeah.
But some people, it could take someone like weeks and weeks to just have the confidence and just break that seal to be like, okay, I'm just going to do it. But once they do it once, then that's it.
You like can't stop them from doing it. You're like, okay, not every time.
Like, who are you?
Yeah, that's so great. And oh my God, I had another. Oh, how important do you think it is? Like, you've obviously done like a lot of mindset work yourself. Do you think that there's a massive correlation between like your posing clients and working on mindset at the same time?
I think seeing people who have a fixed mindset break that fixed mindset and have a growth mindset in posing has really made me realize how important that is for anything. You can go into any endeavor. If you have a fixed mindset, you're not going to be able to go the levels that you want to go. As soon as you start to believe that like, okay, I'm capable, I can do this and I can learn from failing, then you can do anything. I see it so often with my posing clients. The ones that do come in, they're like, no, I'm just awkward. I'm like, well, we're never going to get anywhere if you just keep telling yourself that you're awkward. And as soon as that seal breaks just a little bit, the progress is like tenfold. It's like with posing, with my podcast, everything, as soon as you can break the seal and see your own potential a little bit, the world is your oyster.
Yeah. Do you want to explain, in case people haven't heard it before, of what a fixed mindset is?
So a fixed mindset, somebody who has a fixed mindset is somebody who believes that their talent and their abilities is fixed. So you're like born with it and you can't change your talent or your abilities. So you could be like, yeah, I'm awkward, or I'm shy, or I'm not very smart, I'm bad at math. You've just put yourself in a box and you don't believe that there's more for you. But somebody with a growth mindset believes that your abilities and your talents can be built and they grow from learning, from practice. So if you believe that you can get better from practicing and from trying, then you will. So having a growth mindset will look like, I'm bad at this, but I know I can get better if I keep trying, or I'm not good at this yet. And I tell people my posing clients all the time, if you can just add the word yet to the end of your sentence, you are instilling that growth mindset just a little bit every time. I can't do this move yet. I am really awkward, but, or, I'm not good at this shoulder bop yet. Just starts to plant the seed that like, you can get better if you just try. And that applies to everything.
Yeah, I love that. That's so good. I feel like I've low-key started trying to adopt it as well, because I feel like, oh, I'm not good at studying. And I'm like, yeah, it's like, just got to keep doing it and like you will be better. And it's just crazy. Like the more that I start to like listen more about mindset stuff, I'm like, oh my God, this is actually such a big deal.
Yeah. And the more you think about it, the better. That's all you want to do, is open up that conversation in your own head of like just being aware that, maybe I have a fixed mindset here. Maybe I could try and have a little bit more of a growth mindset, because I even noticed it in different areas of my life. Like when it comes to my taxes, like I have the biggest fixed mindset when it comes to my taxes. I'm like, I don't get it. I'm never going to get it. No, never. And I'm like, I could learn, I could try, but I know I have a fixed mindset there. And you've just got to sort of become aware, but taxes do suck.
They do suck. I feel like that's low-key one of the reasons why I'm like, I don't want to own my own business.
It's so confusing.
Yeah, no, I don't think I'll ever own my own business, and that's one of the reasons. I'm like, I don't understand those words. Those words do not make sense to me. I'm like reading the sentence and I'm like, that is higgledy-piggledy.
Yeah. I guess you can, I've made it work so far.
Yeah. I guess it's one of those things that you enlist in help in places that you don't know. So getting an accountant for your taxes. It's like, don't know posing, get a coach.
Yeah. Offset everything as if you don't get it, just get the help.
Yeah.
And like hopefully you can learn in that as well. The more you speak to your accountant, hopefully you can like pick up little nuggets and be like, oh, that's what that means.
Light bulb moments. Yeah, for sure. How do you feel it has been like putting yourself out there, like branding wise? Like I feel like personal brand is such a big thing at the moment. Do you think it's plays a massive part in how well you do within business?
Definitely. Your personal brand, I feel like people buy from people so much more now than ever before, especially like with posing coaches. Like I can't imagine there'd be many people that would click onto my profile and just book a lesson straight away. They're going to follow, they're going to watch all my stories. They're going to like see who are you? What are you about? And then they're going to buy a posing lesson. And your personal brand, it's the biggest thing you have right now. I feel like I guess people have websites, but your Instagram account is the thing.
Yeah. Do you find it hard to make sure that you show up as like, there's such a big thing. It's like authentic, be authentically yourself. Did you struggle with that at all?
Yes. I struggle with that so often still, because there's a fine line between like, I don't want to air my dirty laundry out on social media. Like, I'm having a really bad day. But also, yeah, we want to make sure that we are showing all of ourselves. I really like to follow people who are authentic themselves. I love to see people who show the ups and downs. And so I just think if that's what I want to see, that's what I should be putting out as well. But I think it's also hard. Like, I don't want to put everything out there. I want to keep some things to myself.
I feel like that's somewhat important. I feel like people get caught up in the like, I have to show everything. And then all of a sudden everyone knows everything about your life. And then you're stuck in like, you stop posting for a little bit and people are like, oh my God, what's happening? And it's like, yeah. So I feel like you would kind of want to keep like some cards close to your chest. But I feel like you can really tell when like someone's not being authentic to themselves. Yeah. Do you find that like, you might be following someone for a while and then you might be like, oh yeah, I really like that, blah, blah, blah. And then you kind of get like an odd feeling.
Yeah. I feel like people see through it straight away. It's like, oh, that's just off. There's something about it. But I think also people try to be extra authentic and then that feels bad too. It feels like awkward that now this person's like being really real. I'm like, oh no, I kind of like that middle ground. I don't want to see everything of everyone. I like to see the highlight reel of people. I think I follow people. Probably the main reason I follow people is to be inspired and to be motivated and have good energy. I love to follow people who make me feel good. And sometimes when people are on the other end of the spectrum of being too extra real, I'm like, oh, okay, next. I don't want to see this.
Do you think it's easier to show up online when you are being more yourself?
100%. And when people praise you when you're being yourself, you actually feel that praise. I feel like if you were being fake, when people praise you, it's kind of like they're not praising you and you probably wouldn't feel that the good feeling. If somebody messages me and they're like, wow, I'm really inspired by your content. I really like what you do. You've inspired me to, start a prep, or you've inspired me to take my preps less seriously. I'm like, oh, that's great because that was me. But if I was putting something out there that was fake and then somebody sent me that message, it wouldn't feel it wouldn't feel good for me.
Yeah, they're like praising a person that isn't even yourself.
Yeah, the mask.
Yeah, that would be a weird feeling. That's pretty much everything that I have, except I do have one more question for you, which we do like to ask all of our guests. Where in your life are you currently making moves?
Oh my gosh.
Anywhere in life, can be anything.
My biggest move is my podcast right now. I honestly have just loved doing it and it has skyrocketed and it's been the one thing at the moment I've been most excited about. I love my posing. I love all my girls, but the podcast right now is just making me so excited. And I feel like we are making moves in that scene at the moment. People are liking it. So I'm like, okay, this is good.
Yay. Can we potentially see some community-based things coming up?
Yes, I would love to have something out this year. Obviously, I have the community-based stuff with my posing business as well. So we have the Luxe Posing Boot Camps, which we hold here at Zone. And there will definitely be some more Mindset Lounge stuff coming up soon, which will be exciting as well. Get to meet everybody and have a little group. I love that.
That's so nice. And so share where people can find you, all of those more cheeky plugs.
Yes. Well, my Instagram is Morgan Eldrett. And then if you want one-on-one posing coaching with me, my posing business is Luxe Posing. And if you want to listen to the podcast, that's called The Mindset Lounge with Morgan. And that's on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And that is me.
And you recently actually added in video too.
Today's my first video one.
Oh, yay.
Which is really exciting. Cool. I was like freaking out about that. I don't know what it was about seeing my face. It felt really weird. But yeah, today's like my first video podcast. This is episode 11, which is crazy.
But I feel like you just like got into it and got started, which is like what you were saying earlier is if you just waited until you were ready to do video recorded ones, you might not have started until now.
Exactly. And I've learned so much in this process. And this first video one, not a vibe. It's not great. Like I know I'll look back in like a year and laugh at this one, but I'm just like so all for making mistakes, trying again, because
Just being the beginner and learning. Just doing.
Fun. Literally, just do the thing. It's so much fun.
I love it. Thank you so much for coming on today. I really enjoyed our chat.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And thank you to everybody for listening. And we'll talk to you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.